Hello, world. I was thinking of, I don't know, today felt like a day that I was going to upload something with an agenda, but I don't know, as the day got on, not really feeling it, but at the same time I just feel like talking to the world and maybe just give a bit of a life update. I feel super rushed this morning. Yeah, you know what? I think this one's just going to be a stream of consciousness again. Because what's in motion's in motion, right? And it's not like the world's changed overnight either. And it's funny that literally a couple moments ago I got an email, and it's just frustrating. But yeah, no, I'll catch up on that in a bit. I'm tired. I'm sore. Been working on, well, obviously a lot of fitness, and one of the challenges that I have is I have a cardio workbook that I created quite a while ago that has no problem shaming me if I don't meet a certain target. Um, and yeah, it's just funny on some of those days where I just get tired or sacked, and instead of the cell that I've got to give an estimate as to about how much of the same type of session do I need to either complete a task or feel caught up or whatever, where it's just got the words get to work. I'm like, I am trying. And but it's yeah, like I said, it's a workbook that I've worked on for quite a while. I've especially since I started doing the Run for Women, that I do stay competitive with myself, and I wanted to make sure that I've got, instead of just showing up and running, right, to have a plan that works for me, that's healthy for me when it comes to just doing a 10K, and then one day, someday, if I ever choose to do anything longer, then I can just evolve from there. It's not in the cards. I'm not a runner. I don't like running. I legitimately don't like running. I hate it. Hate every step of it. If Run for Women had like a 100-meter sprint or something, I'd be all over that. Believe me, I would still work just as hard. Excuse me, that was weird. I'd work just as hard to raise as much as I try. But my gosh, if I could just show up and get her done in however long a 100-meter sprint is, please, right? That's what I would prefer. I'm grateful though that, like I said, I've got this calendar that I've evolved when I started working on putting something together. I ended up finding like a couch to 10K, right, for more of a beginner bit, and because I'm athletic, right, I found something that would be more on the intermediate side, and so I put that as like a second chapter, considering how much time there was before the race the first time, and then because I'm competitive, of course, then I found one that was more on the experience side. I'm not going to say elite because I'm the farthest thing from an elite runner, but on like the experienced side, so to really step it up and being athletic and challenge myself. And as time's gone on, I've poked and prodded and modified it so that it works for me. And then not only that, because I get very focused on numbers and what they do, I was able to evolve a kind of some formulas to essentially say this is how many minutes per day you need to do to make sure that you stay on track, and also implemented it with a workout calendar that I've created, a 31-day calendar, and so what day it's supposed to be, and even including failures. And by failures, I mean if I miss a day, then it forces me to roll back the workbook because it's built on progression, which, like I said, was something that I appreciated coming up with as well, because if you have to take a break for whatever reason, even if it's like a week or whatever, that I could freeze where I was going through my calendar as is, but there is, like, your body does roll back, right, in terms of your cardio and your muscles and whatnot. Cardio significantly more than muscles, but point stands. And so to also acknowledge a rollback in the workbook, so that it didn't stay stalled at what would be considered a higher effort um, um, session or whatnot. And even with the sessions too, I managed to evolve it so that there was always a continued challenge, and especially with how I am now, that like the right out of the gate, like I said, since it's like a couch to 10K for a beginner and whatnot, the first sessions are snoozers for me typically, and so I evolved how all of that works in the sense of also implementing incline in exchange for speed, and also putting in consideration with effort necessary, considering I'm working out with a weight vest and whatever too. And so it's nice. It took a long time for me to come together with something that really resonates with me, instead of just being a bunch of numbers on a chart, or just getting on a treadmill and hitting a button and be like, here's my session for the day. So it's always variable in some sort of sense. And but to know that it's evolving from the start of the session, because it goes for an entire year too, which is something that I find really valuable, because I like the idea of doing cardio every day, or as frequently as possible, let's put it that way. But over the course of an entire year, based on when I select as a race day, and typically that's the Run for Women date, but it starts with like a lower speed but a really high incline, and so you're getting a lot of different muscles used in that sense, and it's typically more on an endurance side, to get those moving. And then as the progression continues, the incline goes down, but the speed goes up, right? So you're still putting in a lot of BPM, but it's reaching towards the ultimate goal of fast, right? Or at least as fast as you can be, and as fast as you can be if you're wearing 20 pounds or 40 pounds, right? Kind of depending on how things go. And even if that's not the case, even if I'm wearing neither, it's still, right, when it comes to just regular action, it's like, it's certainly noticeable. I noticed over the last little while, especially because I've been able to get consistent at it again instead of some sporadic stuff, just because of whether it's work or just other elements of life or whatever. But I've been noticing some great progression in that sense. Like I said, I know tomorrow is 100% a rest day, because I'm starting to acknowledge failure in a couple things, like whether it's upper body exercise or even when it comes to running or whatever, that I can just feel it. But to know, like, even when I was on the treadmill today, to know, like, in my heart that I'm ready to run with 20 pounds, no question, at an appreciable speed. It certainly isn't anywhere close to what I would consider my personal best in terms of race pace, but to know that I can go ahead and be weighted and not have to do any intervals or anything like that, and still put up a time to be like, well, she was wearing a lot of extra weight, right? So yeah, right, of course it's going to go ahead and clock in at whatever. So I'm happy that it's resonating with me. But like I said, it's funny that one of the formulas that I've put in, with it saying get to work, is just like, yeah, no, I know, right, I hear you, believe me, because the other thing with it as well, as I mentioned, is it's progressive. I also want to acknowledge that if I miss days, that it is not. It still needs to acknowledge sessions that are not in line with the current calendar date, and so the more days you miss, right, then it accumulates, until you go ahead and, well, essentially make up on the lost time. And so that's where the get to work part really comes in, because it's just by happenstance of everything. I know that if it was technically a full calendar year and whatever, it'd be fine. The average session per day would be about 40 minutes, which is fine, right? That's pretty usual for me. But just by happenstance of the timing, the current calendar date, when everything was put together, and just well, I was nursing a couple injuries, so I was laying off for a little while, and just a bunch of other elements where it's just over 2 hours a day, which is what I'm putting in as of late. But you go ahead and you put in 2 hours of work, and the workbook says get to work. It's like, I'm really trying. Just give me a minute here. So it's fun. It's nice to have something that I can compete against myself with, especially because I notice a difference in just performance. I'm looking forward to being able to flaunt it, and not in like a vanity bikini way. It's like I'm looking forward to throwing a ball, right? I'm looking forward to running. I'm looking forward to sprinting, jumping, diving, right? And just being like, yeah, I worked for this. I'm working. And it's difficult too on HRT because I'm still, because the keys didn't get handed over yet to my family doctor. And even though levels are normal and whatever, but I'm still just appreciating the changes in the body, and so with that, I'll get on the scale and weight'll be whatever, and body fat goes up. I'm like, how? And I look in the mirror, I'm like, I don't see it, right? But that just goes to figuring out everything that's going on. And once I know that the keys get handed over to my family doctor, and be like, no, Taylor's, endocrine and everything in that sense is, I'm trying to think of how to describe it, but essentially no longer need transitioning care, and just for all intents and purposes, right? It's like, here's Taylor's endocrine system is the exact same as, a 30-year-old woman, right? Or what we would stereotypically acknowledge as a 30 or 40-year-old woman, and so be it. Because I imagine that it would be after my 40th birthday by the time that came around. But who knows? I have a phone call with clinic on Thursday. It's going to be an interesting phone call too. That's the I think, right? Because I've got a lab visit on Monday, and so this appointment, I believe, is a pretty much just a prelim screening for Orky. I know it was inevitable. Never a fan of surgery in the first place, and it's not like it's happening this weekend or whatever, but what do I need them for, right? Really, when it's all said and done, that I've got 2 prescriptions, at least when it comes to HRT, and one is a testosterone blocker, and another one is estrogen, feminizing, call it whatever you want. And if you shut down the factory, then you don't need the blockers anymore. So, and I'm not having kids anytime soon, right? That's not in the cards. So, if anything, just get that taken care of. That's a day surgery. So, as far as I understand, anything more severe is certainly not in the cards at all. I don't know if I ever want to do anything like that, because I've said it before, I like what I got. Not doing anything with it, but I still like what I got. And then who knows what the next relationship's going to be. That who knows. But yeah, so that's based on how that goes and whatever, who knows if I'll just get handed over to my family doctor eventually. And what I'd like to do after that is then I'll start doing like progress pics and whatever, because then I know that I know what to work with, right, when it comes to my own fitness and just that type of stuff, because otherwise I still just don't know what's, what's work, what's like working out, what's diet, what's hormones, what's whatever. So as soon as those keys get handed over, like I said, then I can take hormones out of it, and then I know that, don't get me wrong, that hormones will still of course be part of how the body processes things, but it's not a matter of, every testing or trying or whatever. So that's hopefully that'll be soon-ish, we'll see. But just going for a ride. It's the same thing when I was on the phone with the nurse last time. I'm just enjoying the ride. I can't complain about anything. I don't have any expectations. The body's predispositioned with a blueprint in the first place, right? And so it's just, here's how I'm getting mapped, right? I'm not upset. I'll never be upset. I love who I am, right? And couldn't ever want or expect more, because for me, once this got clear, everything else has just been perfect. So I'm just enjoying the ride. That's actually something with this last email that I got earlier. Just with virtual voice info session. I've said before, and it's honest to goodness truth, I don't care about voice anymore. Okay? When I came out, I was terrified about voice, thinking that I wasn't going to cut it or sound right or sound good or anything like that. And I don't care. Right? I don't care, and there's nothing more validating than being like, I look and sound as I am and who I am, so too bad. That said, it's free. Well, for me, right? It's covered under Manitoba Health, and so of course I'm going to take advantage of it, right? Why wouldn't I? Because it would just add a little more to the repertoire, especially if it just helps when it comes to stuff like singing, or if I just want to, try something different, try something new. Maybe there's something I like or don't like, who knows? But what I don't like with this, like I'm looking at just the email itself, it's just like, I read a lot into the presentation of material, and sure, okay, fine, but something that I'm not a fan of with this is the to maintain privacy and register your attendance, do not enter your name. Your login number is blah blah blah, but it's like, I'm not a number. I'm not a number. I am not a number. My name is Taylor. If there was to be provided an option to, if you want to, register or whatever, and you want to maintain your privacy, sure, use this number and da-da-da. I'm proud of who I am. I'm not a number. I will never be a number. Ever. I am Taylor LaChrist. I'm fucking proud of that. And so just to see that, it's just like, it's like herding cattle. Okay, everyone, learn how to talk like this. Fuck off. like I said, I'll keep an open ear to it, pardon the pun, and I'll participate, of course, right? So long as it seems suitable, but that's just such an instant turn off right away. We're just being defaulted as a nobody around others. You'd think that if you're on a journey with others, especially when it comes to gender-affirming care, you'd like your peers to be with you and be supportive and know you've got people to work with, to rally with. Yeah. That said, right, I've got other great emails, much better emails today. I appreciate where things are going with Sport Manitoba to be able to assist with what was it referred to earlier today? Wordsmithing, policies, and whatnot, to be able to participate with that, to ensure that the language is appreciated and also optimal, right? Or at least as best as can be, because it's a very fluid structure, I guess, right? Because there's no wrong way to be trans. There's also no right way to be trans. And aside from trans, then there's an extension of gender diversity, right? Whether it's non-binary or gender fluid, right? Intersex and so on. And we want to make sure that we're inclusive to everybody who feels underrepresented, right, or marginalized and not getting the opportunity to participate in sports as their authentic selves. So it's great to be able to continue working with this committee about that, and I really liked getting an email this morning from somebody who was helping me with voice in the past, right? Over the last year, especially when I was kind of in panic mode, right? Because I came out abruptly and I didn't know what I was doing. Well, I knew what I was doing, I just didn't know if I was ready or not. But so to be able to get an email from her, right, saying it was an article that I might be interested in, and it's about how trans girls belong on girls' sports teams. And so I really appreciate being in people's minds like that. And even with extension of that, with the national organizer of Run for Women, we stay in good contact, and to constantly have messages that I've sent, right, in emails. And some of you who see this video might have, this been part of an email blast that I've put out, or even may have had it shared by others. I don't know, right? But to know that my messages are getting shared with teams, and then not just the recipients who I send to, but even beyond that, just humbled, right, with hearing that a message that I recently sent was shared with the diversity team for the federal government, and I was asked permission to, if it's okay that same information got shared with the the lead of the diversity team at Shoppers Drug Mart. Like, it's because it was requested by that individual to. It's awesome knowing that the word is getting heard, and it's part of my MO. Like I said, when I came out to advocate and educate, and I feel when I've got something to say, it's worth listening to. It's actually part of the reason why I got these. If anyone's been paying attention to things in the past, right? These are new. Ugh. I'm a hot mess today. But, so these are new, and I've wanted to get these since day one, and I wanted to frame the eye, because I like the idea that eyes are up here when I'm talking. I want to capture attention. I want to make sure that you're paying attention when I'm speaking. And so I got those. And then I might get something unique over there, and that's a little secret, because that's going to be a very unique piece if I actually get that done. And, so that's new. Still letting it heal, obviously. Glasses. You're still healing a bit too, and I got the cluster up here. The cluster at the top, if anyone's noticed right there. I did that with a friend of mine. We both got matching pieces. Very, very, very special person to me, and so we both got matching pieces. He was ecstatic getting that. That was fun. So yeah, no, I've got all of my forms of adornment, right? Whether it's piercings or my tattoos, there are stories associated to all of them. And I'm not typically one to doodle, but I love sharing stories. But when it comes to advocacy, pretty comfortable saying I know what I'm talking about, so it's best to listen. Even over the past couple days, there's been energy, just stuff with Energy 106 FM and COVID and Google it. But don't even Google it. Check my Twitter profile. That was something else. But that aside, to get messages and DMs and text messages from people, right, who know what's important to me, and to shoot me a message saying, hey, did you hear? Or what do you think about this? Or I saw this and I was thinking about you. It means a ton, because it's great to know that people haven't forgotten who's fighting and what we're fighting for. So, just something to keep working with. So it was a little tiring logging in and seeing that hot mess, but that was certainly something else, to say the least. I've got a lot of other anecdotes about that, but I'll leave it alone from now. If you can't tell, I'm a little bit tired today. Today's the second day in a row I haven't taken, like I've mentioned before how I do have a sleep disorder, type 2 narcolepsy, to explain again. And in case you haven't heard that bit before, I was just to explain it really fast. Type 1 narcolepsy is the stuff that when you think narcolepsy, where you just like fall asleep right away, full of muscle cataplexy, like, right? And that's not the case. Type 2 narcolepsy is essentially perpetual sleepiness, powered by coffee. this is my second pot of coffee in not long ago. But either way, the fueled by coffee, and so there's a prescription that I have that I take every morning to get the day going or whatever. It's and then depending on how your day is, right? If you know you're gonna have a longer day or whatever, then middle of the day, usually around lunchtime, just take another dose, and it gets you through the rest of the day. And if you don't take it, bedtime soon. Like yesterday, I fell asleep around 7. Fell asleep on the couch, and I was out. But yeah, so today's the second day in a row, because I'm going to let my body heal. Tomorrow's going to be a rest day with workouts, so the sooner I can fall asleep, right, then the sooner I can start to heal up. I feel it in a lot of places. Like I mentioned, I noticed early failure with some upper body workouts, so I know that the shoulders need a break, and just in regards to my knee, my right knee's been acting up, and my groin again. I still have that groin injury that I haven't ever let go, pretty much. But I can feel that starting to get a little angry at me, so I'll lay off tomorrow, and I'll just get back into the, I guess it'll probably be like 2 hours and 20 minutes, Friday, Saturday, Sunday maybe, right? And just kind of get back on track, and whatever happens from there happens. But yeah, no, it's, if I sound sleepy, it's because I am. That's kind of where things are as of late. I wish I had more to talk about. I just figured today's just a good day to talk to this guy. I am trying to gain a bit of energy, because for that karaoke challenge, I've got one on deck. The song that got voted was Kryptonite, which I could probably do right now if I had to, and I'm not going to lie, I'm probably going to try sampling, and if I can pull it off, great. I'm not looking for all-star performance, but should. But I do have to catch up on that karaoke challenge as well. I'm very close to my primary goal for Run for Women, right? Last I saw, I haven't checked in the past a little bit, but last I saw was at $862 out of my goal of $1,100, and $1,100 has always been a goal based on the number 11. And I do have another goal, right? That I do want to, I say this reluctantly, that I do want to hit $2,200 by my birthday of June 7th, and I only say it reluctantly because oh, hang on. Just give me a second here, sorry. Across. I've got a coffee coming, right? Speaking of coffee, there was Railroad had some really interesting ones that I'd like to try. I'm just gonna buzz. I hope this doesn't nuke the video. One way to find out. But yeah, I'm looking forward to giving this a test, because normally I just Folgers or whatever. So this is gonna be tasty stuff. But now I'm trying to remember what I was talking about before. Oh yeah, just exercise. But anyway, like I said, I'm getting just a bit... oh, the karaoke challenge, that's right. So I've got a second goal, like I said, of $2,200. And I say reluctantly to achieve that by my birthday because with that goal would be a 40-pound weight vest, or 40 pounds worth of weight vests. Perfect. Yay, it worked. But yeah, like I said, I've got the second challenge is if I'm able to go ahead and achieve $2,200 by my birthday, then I'll be wearing 40 pounds for a 10K run, and I'm only reluctant to achieve that because I've run already. Like, obviously I'm not going to just surprise myself with it, but it's chunky and it's tiring. So exciting. I'm getting so distracted now. But I think that's just kind of how today's flow is. Right? Like I said, it's a stream of consciousness. Don't really have much to talk about because everything else is in motion. Just want to share life and times. I don't want to turn this into a big political talk today. I don't want to make a mess of anything in terms of yelling at the sky, telling anyone they're being dopes. I can do that a bunch of other times. Today is I'm just happy today. Tired, but I'm happy, and I wanted to take a minute to share that with the world. So I hope that with you seeing this, if you watch it, you're happy too. A lot of people, I wonder if they ever do see this or not. People I've shared my channel with. I know I've got a few subscribers. I appreciate everyone who's subscribed. And I hope that you have, what is it, like notifications and whatever, and I hope that you see when new videos come up and you watch them, and I hope they make you happy or inspired or curious, right? I hope that happens. I hope you share my channel with others who might be curious, just want to know more, or who like my saltiness sometimes. But today's just a happy day. And if you're wondering if I think about you, I do. That's an open message to many. I'm the type of person who thinks of many people, for many reasons, in many type of ways. Some people are incredibly meaningful. Some people are incredibly impactful. Some people I'm generally curious about. So, if you wonder if I'm thinking about you, I do. And I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to get my coffee. And I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Friday, whenever it is that you see